Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio.
Hey, Zaron.
What's up, Elizabeth Dutton?
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
Yeah, I've been wearing all your hoodies.
Have you? Is that where they all went?
Totally. I've been having a really fun week. People are like, dude, you've been dressing a lot better this week. I'm like, I know. It's not always the same two hoodies.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, is that a Godard quote? I was like, no, it's...
So you're the one who's been breaking in and stealing all my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
This week.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's ridiculous?
I do, Elizabeth.
Yes.
Imagine this, okay? In a place called Ashland County, which I think is in Virginia, I'm pretty sure it's in Virginia, there was this bandit, this masked bandit who broke in to a liquor store, an ABC store, and that's what it's called by brand name, ABC.
Yeah.
And they drank up a bunch of bourbon, and then they passed out drunk on the bathroom floor.
Okay.
The great part was that the masked bandit was a raccoon.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so the Hanover County
broke in?
Animal Protection, they found a raccoon passed out in the toilet of the ABC store after they broke like numerous bottles of bourbon, drank up, like I'm assuming licked it up. I don't think they were like taking slugs out of the bottle.
Still.
But maybe. Anyway, the trash panda was just trashed on the floor of the bathroom. And then, quote, after a few hours of sleep and zero signs of injury, other than maybe a hangover and poor life choices, he was safely released back to the wild.
Aww.
That's from Animal Transport, or Animal Protection, rather. So there you go. I thought that was pretty good.
That's ridiculous.
You never expect to hear about a masked bandit, and it's a raccoon.
And you got me there.
Right? There you go.
Ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Thank you.
Do you want to know what else is ridiculous?
Please.
Being the Napoleon of crime.
Can you do that?
Yes, you can. This is Ridiculous Crime, a podcast about absurd and outrageous capers, heists, and cons. It's always 99% murder-free and 100% ridiculous.
Oh, you damn right.
We love a nonviolent criminal, don't we, folks?
We do.
And
we do.
And we love a cast of characters, right, gang?
Do you say a cat of characters?
A cast.
Oh, cast. Yes, them too.
Hold on to your support hose, Zaron.
Yeah.
I have a humdinger for you.
Oh, I'm going to pull them up.
Yeah, so this guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
His exploits take place at such an interesting time in history, especially from a crime perspective.
Oh, how so?
So let's dig into this ridiculous smorgasbord.
Ooh, I love a smorgasbord.
I know you do. I want to tell you about Adam Worth.
Okay.
He was born in 1844 in Prussia into a German Jewish family whose exact town of origin we do not know.
It probably has changed over time.
He's building a mystery.
He's in the Prussian Empire, right? So
yeah, I mean, we all know immigration records from that era, incomplete,
totally
lost.
That's why I tell people I'm Count Laszlo.
There it is. And they believe you, as well they should. His parents immigrated to the U.S. when he was really young, and they settled in Cambridge, Massachusetts. His father was a tailor, a hardworking family. Adam was like this quiet, intelligent, introverted child, didn't cause trouble, did well in school. He was something of like a math and logistics whiz. Yeah.
And Cambridge, that's where like MIT and Harvard are, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, all of these things, they would come in handy later in life.
Okay.
In his teens, he worked in a dry goods store. He did clerical work. He was a good boy.
Sounds like it.
Didn't break the law, didn't hang with the wrong crowd. Remember when you recently told me about that original bank robber guy?
Yeah, George Leonidas Leslie.
Yes, and how the Civil War impacted crime in the U.S.
Vastly, yes.
Well, we're about to see that again.
I love that.
I know you do. So when the Civil War broke out in 1861...
You know I love 19th century crime waves.
Worth was 17. He enlisted in the Union Army by lying about his age.
Okay.
It's not clear why he was so chomping at the bit to get out there. Patriotism? Was it teenage bravado, restlessness? Who knows?
My grandfather lied about his age to join the Navy and to get out of Iowa. So it happened. He said he was 17 when he was actually 16.
Oh, interesting.
Because back then you could get in at 17.
Who knows? Maybe he just wanted to get out of Massachusetts. What we do know is that Army life was not for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He deserted.
Good for him.
But then he re-enlisted under an alias.
No, even better.
And then he deserted again.
I love it.
I know. So desertion was common in like the early years of the war.
Totally.
Everything's super chaotic, like the training, supplies, leadership, like it's all over the place.
And there were plenty of woods to run into.
Oh my gosh, so easy. And there were so many who were like conscripted who had zero interest in being there.
And they realized it sucked when they got there. Like, I got a couple hot meals in me. And now I realize.
I had 2 dirt farmer ancestors in Alabama.
Okay.
And they certainly could not afford the men of the house leaving a mom and a grandma and like a grip of kids to like scrape out a living in the middle of nowhere. So one of the men deserted and came home to keep the family fed. The other one came home missing a leg.
Ooh.
Lost cause indeed. So back to Worth, August 1862. So Worth, now when he re-enlisted after desertion the first time, he used an alias.
Okay.
So he's serving under this alias.
And he's not flipping sides. He's just serving on the Union. Unlike your traitorous family.
Precisely. So he's serving under an alias at the time. He was mistakenly listed as killed in action at the Second Battle of Bull Run.
Oh, I love that. I did a report on that one.
I don't know if it was like a clerical error or if like someone misidentified him in the field of battle. Either way, this gave him an idea.
Manassas.
If he was already, quote, dead, according to the U.S. government, then he figured he had like basically been given a blank slate.
Okay.
And so he could reinvent himself. They had no legal accountability for desertion.
Totally.
Couldn't draft him.
I love this for him.
So he seized the opportunity. He's now a dead man. So he heads for the Northeast, where like the cities there are rapidly changing. Things are getting exciting. He dives right in. New York in the mid 1860s. It's full of new immigrants, corrupt politicians, massive wealth disparity.
Yes, yes.
And so crime is just flourishing in areas like the Fourth Ward and the Bowery.
Little 5 Points.
Little 5 Points, gangs of New York era.
Right? Yeah.
So they're like pickpocket gangs, river thieves, burglars, fences. Everything's operating out in the open,
Cut purses. Yeah.
Yes. Young Adam Worth, he found himself drawn into increasingly sophisticated criminal circles. So he starts out in like the pickpocket gangs, and then he keeps working his way up. One of the most important figures in his early criminal development was Friederike Marm Mandelbaum.
Oh, yes. We kind of touched on her.
Yeah.
We should do a story on her.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. She totally needs her own episode. She was like his own family. She was a German Jewish immigrant. But where his family was honest and law-abiding, Marm ran the largest and most profitable fencing operation in the country. And she supplied tools to burglars. She financed really big jobs.
Yes.
And she bought stolen goods like at scale. So she's this shrewd judge of talent too. And she really quickly, she saw Adam Worth and she's like, the guy's smart, super pleasant to be around. And he stays so calm under pressure.
That's super valuable.
Huge. So she's like, he's not a brawler. He's not a drinker.
Oh, you can recommend him.
Soft spoken.
Yeah.
He's calculating. He's like super methodical, logistical minded. So she starts giving him responsibilities that she usually wouldn't entrust to newcomers.
Totally.
She's got him planning robberies, supervising crews, again with the logistics stuff. And because he had all this math and organizational skills, you combine that in, he also had an ability to like assume different identities.
Really?
Yeah, it was really easy for him. So he becomes invaluable to Marm.
I bet.
So his most important early partnership was with Charles Piano Charlie Bullard.
Yes.
So
Piano Charlie Bullard.
Piano Charlie, he's believed to have been born in the 1840s, maybe in New York State, maybe in Ohio.
Totally.
Like he didn't tell anyone the truth. He was suave. He was charismatic. He was also a musically talented safecracker.
Oh, yeah. Interesting combo.
And he was musically gifted. He played the piano in saloons and boarding houses, thus the name Piano Charlie.
Okay.
Sometimes as like a legit job, sometimes as a cover to scout potential targets. And so he was this expert with lockpicks and explosives. So you combine that with Worth's skills in planning, timing, evasion. These two are unstoppable.
Totally. Great team.
And there were stumbles along the way. Charlie got busted and locked up for stealing $100,000 worth of stuff from the Hudson River Railway Express.
Okay.
Marm Mandelbaum needed her safecracker out of the clink. Folks, we got ourselves a good old-fashioned jailbreak.
Yes.
So Marm rents an office across the street from the prison where Charlie's being held. She bribes some guards. They keep things quiet, and when the time is right, they help kick off a riot. And it was then that Worth coordinated a crew to tunnel into Bullard's cell.
Wow. So she's doing basically setting up what you do for a bank robbery, but to get out her piano Charlie.
Right, but people weren't doing tunneling bank robberies then.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but the technique worked. And so they're like, you know what, let's run with this. And then that happened, the running with it happened at Boylston National Bank in Boston in 1869. So the Boylston National Bank robbery is thought by like some historians as one of the earliest major professional, highly planned, technically sophisticated bank burglaries in the U.S. during the post-Civil War period, right up there with your guy, George Leonidas Leslie. So the robbery was significant for two reasons. It marked one of the first times that a crew tunneled into a bank.
Okay.
And it also, it was what put Adam Worth on the radar of the Pinkerton Agency.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So
They don't give up.
No, this was a critical event in the evolution of organized burglary.
Totally.
By 1869, so banks, they're like relying on heavy iron safes with combination locks, like pretty simple vault rooms. They've got like a watchman or two, and then limited night patrols. Time lock safes weren't really a thing.
Yeah, Yale hasn't really reinvented the safe vault.
So skilled
vault
safe
safe.
crackers, what they called boxmen, like Piano Charlie, could manipulate or like drill locks with enough time and quiet. All right, now let's talk about Boston, right? Recovering from like all this wartime economic turbulence, and things are in an upswing. So the banks brimming with merchant money, trade receipts, railroad financing.
Right,
cash.
of course. You're getting seeing all that come into play.
And
All the
there's-
big railroad trusts.
Yeah, there's gold, negotiable bonds, like lots of loot, loose security, perfect combination for Worth and Piano Charlie. So just like at the jailbreak, they rented a room next to Boylston Bank.
Okay.
First things first, Worth watched the guards and got a sense of their schedules. He tracked and analyzed the access that bank employees had to the vault. And then speaking of the vault, he mapped the layout. He knew every inch of the place.
Smart man.
So he established the timing that would work best, and then they started tunneling through that shared wall. Remember, no one had really done this before.
No, this is all new territory. This is brilliant.
They worked late at night so people wouldn't hear them, and then they put up special drapes to keep the dust controlled, so that wasn't showing out.
And also, you got like cops are walking around, so you need kind of like a screen to hide
Yes,
your work from them.
Exactly. So once in, Piano Charlie got to work. So he manipulated the tumblers by sound and feel. They didn't have to blast their way in. It was clean. It was
Nice.
elegant. And this was a hallmark of the new gentleman burglar style that was emerging in American cities, George Leslie style.
Totally.
So Worth and Piano Charlie, they cleaned the place out. It's said that they came away with somewhere between $100,000 and $200,000.
Hot damn.
Which today is $2.4 million to $4.8 million.
Okay.
That's insane. That's
Totally.
an incredible
For
amount
two
of money.
guys?
2 guys.
I would quit. I'd
Yeah,
quit the game.
I'd be
I'd be
like,
good.
I'm done. I'm
moving
good.
to Aruba.
Exactly, Aruba, Jamaica. So they got cash, negotiable securities, bonds, gold, certificates of deposit. It's a perfect haul because it's easy to transport, difficult to trace. Boston police stunned. This didn't look like any of the robberies any of the local gangs would
Totally.
pull off. Too clean.
This is next level stuff.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? Whoever did this had to be from New York City. Like, New York City,
Get a rope.
So they called in the Pinkertons. And the Pinkerton Agency soon linked the job to Piano Charlie and Worth. They couldn't prove it, but they're like, oh, we know.
Yeah,
we know
we have
they did
only
it.
2 good suspects.
And at this time, like, stories all over the papers. The press are loving it. But then, like, there's no real leads. Interest tapers off. One thing the Pinkertons did uncover was that Worth and Charlie had shipped some trunks from Boston to New York. And that wasn't an actual lead, but it sent up red flags for the Pinkertons. Marm and Charlie and Worth, they knew the red flags were bad for business.
Always.
So with the heat increasing, Worth and Charlie headed to Europe. Marm had all these connections there who could get the pair plugged in. Off they go. They go to London. And this was the beginning of Worth's evolution from like skilled thief to criminal mastermind.
Totally.
Yeah. Think about London in the early 1870s. So it's the largest city in the world, center of an empire. And it was somewhere that a guy with like charm and money and false papers could easily blend in with the swells. So he was now going by the name Henry Judson Raymond, and he was a respectable American businessman.
Okay.
He had the spoils of all his East Coast jobs, so he bought himself nice suits. He rented a fancy flat. He ingratiated himself with all the local American expats. And then he starts assembling this crew of specialists from the criminal underworld.
Wow.
Let's take a break. When we come back, I'm going to tell you about this new crime syndicate Worth was building and where that took him. Zaron.
Elizabeth.
When we left off,
Yes.
Adam Worth was living in London as Henry Judson Raymond.
Yes. Love that name.
Yeah, he was living the good life, setting up a new gang of thieves, and he had a code.
And he was looking clean.
Oh, he was looking so clean.
He's got the good smell in his hair.
He's got
like
it all.
One of those little cigarette or I guess cigar tampers like on the gold chain, like in your little pocket watch.
Oh, he's got everything.
Yeah.
He's a fine dressed man. Worth believed violence was the enemy of a successful criminal enterprise.
Ooh, I like that.
A violent crime always generated public panic. And that brought on police involvement.
Totally. And anger and fear, all the things you don't want.
So he was like, non-violent crimes, but especially ones discovered long afterward, could be quietly forgotten by both police and the press. And so he
romanticized by the public.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He forbade his crew from carrying weapons.
Smart.
Can't do it.
No enhancements for him.
Well, and anyone who violated the rule got kicked out. I don't care how talented you are, how valuable you carry a weapon, you're out of here. And so this contributed to like this really unusually low arrest rate and almost complete absence of public attention during like his peak years of operation.
Super smart.
So like just like back in the States, his operations were built on extended surveillance, perfect timing, forged documents. He thought of everything, all these like really specific, secure escape routes, solid contingency plans. He was a logistics guy.
Totally. And mathematical as hell.
Yeah, here's a rare criminal who thinks things all the way through.
Yeah.
Like we're always saying is the problem. So Victorian police described him as, quote, the most patient burglar on record.
I like that. It's somehow a compliment the way they put it.
Yes, it was very much so. So his fencing system was also revolutionary for the time.
How did he fence everything?
He didn't sell stolen goods locally. He used multiple brokers across different countries.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So a diamond stolen in London would go through like Antwerp, Hamburg, and New York before being sold in Cape Town.
In South Africa. Wow.
Yeah. So his like crazy process made police recovery nearly impossible.
Yeah, because they don't know to be looking for it because they don't know it's stolen, and they're most likely not in contact with the London PD.
Everything in the operation was unprecedented. So he treated his associates with fairness and professionalism. He paid them promptly.
Okay.
He financed their legal defense when they got arrested.
Very smart.
Protected their families if they went to prison. He's like took care of them.
Ultimately smart.
And so he had like this crazy loyalty that he
Just
generated.
About to say, yeah. That's like mafia level loyalty.
Yeah, and it was so rare. So he himself, he had a ton of aliases and passports. He could pass as an American businessman, a German tourist, a French trader, a British gentleman, because he mastered all of these different languages.
Are you kidding me?
No, he was great with language. He would also learn like the various elements of etiquette for high society and all these places.
Totally. Eat with the right fork.
Yeah, he was so convincing, like in any social context. And so the syndicate itself, historians say that his London operations were like the first modern criminal corporation.
I'd say.
And so he had specialized crews for safe cracking, some that forged documents, the jewelry theft, surveillance. And he made sure to really compartmentalize all the operations so that no single arrested member could expose the entire operation.
Oh, so cell structure. Very
Super
cool.
siloed, yeah. And he had all kinds of business fronts so he could do, launder everything. Shipping, import, export businesses, of course. And then there were the international associates. So he would recruit people from like all the criminal hotspots at the time, like Paris, Brussels, Hamburg, New York.
Okay. I love that Hamburg made the list.
I know.
It's a port city, so.
Exactly. And like his double life got more and more complex. So he socialized in all of like London's elegant salons. He went to the theater. He ate at all the most fashionable restaurants. And he had this reputation as this charming cosmopolitan.
I bet.
And he collected upper class acquaintances, not just for pleasure, but for information. And so he had, he's got these impeccable manners, this understated style. He's the last person any of these people would think would be a criminal.
Totally. He's super cultured. They're thinking he's like a wandering count.
And he didn't like flaunt his wealth. He didn't associate with hard men. So yeah, of course, they're going to tell him things and never think that it, it can be traced back to he's the one who did something. Along the way, he got married. Louise Margaret Balduc, she was a French woman, had no knowledge of his criminal activities.
Really? Not just saying that in court, but
Zero.
Really?
Truly did. And they wound up having 2 kids together. He kept his whole family, the wife and kids, totally shielded from his world of crime. They had no idea. When he wasn't home, they thought he was traveling for business.
Of course.
And it made sense.
He's very international.
Yeah. He had all the import-export businesses and such. It was in this time that he pulled his most famous and audacious theft. Let's talk about Thomas Gainsborough's portrait of Georgiana Cavendish, Duchess of Devonshire.
Oh, totally, dude. Oh, my goodness.
So I wish we could have Bendor on as a guest right now to talk about the painting.
Do.
Alas, you'll have to make do with little old me. Portrait was painted in 1787. Gainsborough is widely regarded as one of the most gifted portrait and landscape painters in British history.
I'll say one of the best, if not the best, in British history.
Yes. He helped define the look and style of late 18th century British art. And he was known for like this really elegant, fluid brushwork, nuance, luminous color.
The color's incredible. Yeah. That's why I like him.
And he's best known for the Blue Boy, painted in 1770.
His colors are incredible.
Yeah.
You seen him in person?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Amazing.
It's insane.
And
Still,
it's like
to this day, yeah.
It glows. So he establishes the visual identity of Georgian Britain.
Okay.
So this portrait of Georgiana Cavendish, Duchess of Devonshire, it was already a famous painting by the 1800s. Georgiana was glamorous. She was politically influential. She was fashionable. She was a writer, a talented musician, an amateur scientist. In fact, she had a small lab at her house where she conducted chemistry experiments.
Wow.
So she was also tragic. So she was a gambler and she got herself into incredible debt. In 1784, her gambling debt was 100,000 pounds, which is like 14 million pounds today.
Ooh,
she had an affair with Earl Grey.
Of the tea fame.
Of the tea fame, and got pregnant. So she was shipped off to France to have the baby, which then the baby was passed off to the Earl's family and she wasn't able to see her again. She was this beautiful woman who toward the end of her life had a tumor in her eye, went blind and had like a huge scar on her face as a result.
Oh, Lord.
And she was really sickly after that. She passed away when she was only 48 years old. Tragic. And perhaps that haunted her bloodline, as she was the great-great-great-grand aunt of Diana, Princess of Wales.
Really?
Yes. So anyway.
She's on that Spencer line?
Yeah.
Huh.
Her portrait depicting her in a plumed hat and having that famous Gainsborough luminosity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know the painting. It's incredible.
It had a mythic reputation.
Yeah.
And so for decades, the painting was believed lost. No one knew where it was. But it was discovered in 1876 in the home of the Dowager Viscountess Harcourt.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure, lady. Oh, I just found it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I was behind a sheet.
But it was returned to society, and it was this huge sensation. So London newspapers called it the greatest portrait reappearance of the century. In
Little did they know.
the many reappearances. So the
wild one's coming, folks.
The art dealers, Thomas Agnew and Sons, was one of the most prestigious firms in Europe. And they purchased the painting at auction for 10,000 guineas, which was about, 10,000 pounds.
Okay.
Now, that was the highest price ever paid for a portrait up to that time. Its value, its fame, sudden cultural prominence, it made this like instantly recognizable icon.
Totally, world famous.
And it was also then the perfect target for a criminal with a taste for symbolism, someone like Adam Worth.
Wow.
So Worth, he didn't steal it to sell it. He stole it because it was a symbol of prestige and daring. It was like a psychological prize.
And it'd make a great gift.
It really
For someone who could keep their word quiet.
It would also serve as collateral if you ever needed leverage with criminals or fences.
Tell Scotland Yard, like, hey, you want this back.
Yeah, exactly. So Worth, he believed that the Agnew price signaled vulnerability. Because he figured that the gallery's pride in its acquisition blinded it to security risks. So he later said that he viewed the painting as a kind of talisman or mascot, and he never intended to damage it or ransom it.
Okay.
So as we know, Adam Worth was never impulsive. His approach to the Gainsborough theft was had the same meticulous attention of all his other jobs. He spent weeks studying the layout of the gallery, the entry and exit points, nearby patrol patterns, the habits of the night watchman, how the painting was mounted, even the construction of display cases. He visited the gallery tons and tons of times disguised as a patron. And he could pull this off because he was known in London art circles at the time because he would pose as this American collector. And it wouldn't be unusual then for him to hit up the gallery a bunch of times to see a famous painting with a cool backstory.
Okay.
And once he decided that he needed the painting, he got to work. So he got his paws on a set of duplicate keys for the gallery, and he mapped out the lighting conditions and the windows in the place. All of this was done with two unnamed, to this day, criminal associates.
Okay.
As with all his other work, there was no violence and no coercion.
Now, do we think that these associates are insiders, who work somehow in the firm?
Yeah,
Okay.
and my guess is that's how he got the keys.
That's what I'm saying. You said the duplicate keys, and now he's got the lighting conditions. I was like, they're probably in
probably
there.
Insiders. Zaron, close your eyes.
My eyes are closed.
I want you to picture it.
Yeah.
It's the night of May 26th, 1876. You are the portrait of Georgiana Cavendish, Duchess of Devonshire. You've recently been installed at the Thomas Agnew and Sons Gallery in London. You missed the Dowager's house where you'd been hanging out, pun intended, for a while. But this place is nice. The staff are so excited you're here, and so many people come through to give you the eye. They marvel at your beauty, your composition. They're proud of you. You are eating this up. The last employee of the gallery has just left. You hear the back door lock, and silence falls across the rooms in the gallery. Some time elapses, and then you hear keys open the back door. It's still dark out, middle of the night, really. Someone must have left something behind. You hear light footsteps and the creak of the polished wood floors. Someone is approaching. The feet walk with steady determination, purpose. They stop right in front of you. In the slight shard of moonlight coming through a skylight, you see a face. It's a man you've seen before, someone who's come to admire you a few times, always very well dressed. He's ruggedly handsome, full head of well-coiffed hair and a healthy mustache. He stares at you, in no rush, not nervous, sure of himself. He reaches out and traces a finger along your frame. You feel a tingle in your canvas. "Why, sir," you wish you could gasp. He takes a step back and then approaches again, this time lifting you off the wall. He turns you around and you now face the rich blue wall. You feel him begin to unfasten the frame from around you. With a tender touch, he gently lifts the brackets used to keep you pent and stretched for display. In an instant, you are free. The tension removed, you flop forward, your midsection loose. As gentle as ever, the man tenderly rolls you up, not too tight, but still firm. He slides you into a heavy, unbleached cotton sleeve and holds you under his arm. He uses his other arm to replace the empty frame on the wall where you just hung. Then he turns and heads for the back door. You know there is a guard up front. He has apparently heard nothing. The two of you reach the back door. He opens it, steps out into the night, closes the door, and then locks it with the set of keys produced from his pocket. Off you go into the night with this mystery man. You are sure more adventure awaits, and you feel no fear, no sense of danger. You believe your namesake, the visage that launched you, would agree. So, Worth was able to steal what was the most famous painting in London at the time. Never damaged the painting or the frame.
This is like the Mona Lisa of London.
Yes. He left everything undisturbed all around it. No signs of forced entry. No witnesses saw him. No police patrols noticed anything. The disappearance wasn't discovered until the next morning. They walk in. She's gone.
They got a big clean spot on the wall.
And it was one of the most humiliating unsolved robberies in London art history at the time.
Take that, Scotland Yard.
Yeah, exactly. So contrary to criminal custom, like I said, he didn't try and sell the painting. He kept it as this private trophy because that's what they kept thinking. Oh, this thing's going to pop up on the market somewhere.
Yeah, it's going to.
He carried it with him for years in a specially constructed case.
Wow.
Yeah. So by the late 1870s.
Had he fallen in love with it?
It was just, it meant everything. It meant it was the symbol.
Sure, I get that it's a symbol, but I mean, it's also an obsessive.
As he called it, it was a talisman. So once he had that was he had to carry it with him. Late 1870s, though, he is the absolute unquestioned leader of the most sophisticated, nonviolent criminal network in the Western world.
Completely. I'm wondering why he's on this show.
Well, London was only one component of his expanding operations. And so by the next decade, he had spread out far beyond Britain.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure he's working Russia and all the way down to South Africa.
Well, let's take a pause for some ads.
Okay.
I know you love them ads. Yum, yum, give me some. That's what you yell during every ad break.
I grab my wallet, yeah.
Exactly.
And I start throwing money at the microphones.
Back in a flash. Zaron.
Elizabeth.
Adam Worth. So he rocked the East Coast of the U.S., went to London, became a legend. And then he branched out further onto the continent. So records, like you were saying, records from Belgium, France, Germany, Austria, all these police archives show the presence of his associates all throughout this place. His organization targeted high-value jewelry shipments, banks, and wealthy travelers.
Yeah.
So Paris at the time had this wealthy aristocracy, growing bourgeois class. So this was a natural target for jewel theft.
I bet.
And his teams frequently operated during the summer social season. So he wasn't just fencing through these places now or drawing members of his syndicate.
He's also enjoying the cultural moments.
Yeah, he's going, they're committing crimes there. So the French elite, they're vacationing at coastal resorts and they're bringing all their lavish jewelry.
Oh yeah, they want to show off to their swells.
Yes,
hey, look at my jewels.
Exactly. In Belgium, the banking centers in Antwerp and Liège, they offered all these fabulous opportunities for forgery, financial fraud. Then you have the German cities like Berlin, Hamburg, again, were transit points for stolen goods and forged documents. And so he designed transnational routes for moving stolen merchandise, like we said. And then the biggest thing about that is that there was no cooperation between these nations.
I was just about to say, yeah.
So law enforcement couldn't track things once it left whichever country.
They basically only communicate through the telegraph at this point.
Yeah. He went to Egypt in the early 1880s.
Hell yeah.
Because he saw opportunity in strife there. So it's this really tumultuous environment after the Anglo-Egyptian War. So European officers, diplomats, businessmen would go through Cairo and Alexandria carrying like tons of cash,
Yeah.
jewelry.
Largely unguarded.
Yeah. And Worth's organization exploited those vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
He also leveraged like the bustling port activity there to move stolen goods really discreetly because you could bribe anybody and forge manifests.
It would be so much fun to rob a modern major general of the British Empire in Cairo.
Right?
Like, you know, how
while
great
wearing
would that
a
be?
linen suit.
Yes. You know how my thinking is.
I know. I can see it. And so then we have South Africa. So the diamond mines of Kimberley were notorious for theft, smuggling, corruption. So you have all these African laborers. They're under brutal conditions. And like a lot of them would try and sneak diamonds out of the mines.
Yeah, like in orifices.
Yeah. And the stolen stones needed a sophisticated fence network to get those to market. So he didn't personally participate in those mine thefts, but his organization did a lot in terms of like purchasing the stolen diamonds and moving them to Europe. So he would have anonymous purchasing agents, coded letters, forged shipping papers. They really started this like international scale of laundering diamonds.
Yeah.
So by the mid 1880s, he's wealthy, respected by criminals, feared by police, loved by society. His visibility was increasing because now he has more and more international travel patterns. It's starting to make him a person of interest for all these various European police forces.
He's got to be starting to show up at too many places where there's
exactly.
crimes.
And so because he's branching out. And at the time too, surveillance techniques are improving.
Oh, that's right, because now you start getting the modern detective work.
Right. And as you said, telegraph communication, like that's how they're communicating, but it's faster and faster. And Worth, he's now in his 40s. He's starting to take greater risk.
Okay.
So his downfall came in Belgium during a robbery that fell way below his usual standards. So October 5th, 1892, he and these two associates, they tried to burglarize the American Express office in Liège.
Okay, which used to be like the Western Union where they're sending money and stuff. So they actually have a lot of gold and silver.
Exactly. And so police later testified that their actions were suspicious from the jump. And they made repeated visits. They asked really weird questions. They'd go in there and be like, oh. So like, I don't know, how much money do you think you have at the counter right now? I'm just curious.
How big is your safe, like roughly speaking, in cubic centimeters?
Can I take a look at it maybe? And they were behaving in a way that was totally uncharacteristic of his typical meticulous planning.
Yeah.
And some say that like he's starting to slip due to stress or financial pressure. Others are like, he was just emotionally exhausted. He had no spoons left, Zaron. But from
was he empty nesting it? His children are gone.
From living this double life. Plus, his wife's health was declining, mainly her mental health. Like she was having some issues.
Okay.
And then also like his criminal network, as it grew, it started to get a little more fragmented.
Okay.
Whatever the cause, the robbery was a disaster. So the Belgian police, they got a tip about this Amex heist. So they were there waiting when Worth and his accomplices broke in. And there was like a struggle.
Like inside.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're
boy.
like, oh, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
And there's this little struggle ensues, but then Worth, he's like, no, we don't use violence. All right, surrender peacefully. And so, but he did give a false name. However, you know who shows up?
No, who?
The Pinkertons.
What? They crossed the Atlantic?
Yes.
They're like, oh, we coming.
They had been hunting him for years.
I told you, they don't give up.
No,
that's
and
the
they
thing
went
about you read the
across
stories
the
about them.
pond,
They never give up.
They were in England looking for him. Then they hit the continent.
It's like a point of pride with them.
Yeah, they were the ones who identified him. They heard about this. They show up. They're like, oh, no, we know who that is.
We've been on his tail for 2 decades.
He gets convicted and sentenced to 7 years in prison.
Rough.
And the prison was harsh there, but orderly. And he was like, he was a perfect model prisoner.
Okay.
And so that got him privileges and like reduced some of the hostility from the guards. But with him behind bars, his empire was ruined.
Yeah, I
like
bet.
the syndicate
No one can take his
totally
place.
fell apart without his leadership. Some of the members were arrested. Others retired or like fled to South America. His wife suffered a total mental collapse and had to be committed to an institution. His 2 kids, I mean, because think about it. She's already struggling and then she finds out like her world is rocked.
Everything's a lie.
Yeah. The kids, they get put into a boarding school, but they didn't know how they were going to afford this. His health starts to decline. He's like rapidly aging. So he once was this suave criminal mastermind. Now he's like a thin, sickly, introspective
Quickly
shell
aging
of who he
man,
was.
yeah.
Yeah. So he gets released in 1897 early for good behavior. He's 53. He's diminished, but he is determined to rebuild some semblance of stability for his kids. He had one asset remaining, the Gainsborough portrait.
Oh, that's right. He never.
No,
Wow.
he had left it with a trusted associate before his arrest. And so that was his bargaining chip. So he gets out, he goes to the United States, and he seeks out Pinkerton.
What?
Yes.
That's a crazy
The
move.
detective whose pursuit of him had spanned 3 decades at this point. So surprisingly, Pinkerton's like, yeah, I'll meet with you. I mean, at this point, he's done his time.
Does Pinkerton write about him in one of his books?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So they meet and they develop this like weird mutual respect.
I bet.
And Pinkerton was like, he really admired Worth's discipline and how he was nonviolent.
Yeah.
Worth respected how tenacious Pinkerton was.
Yeah.
And so Worth proposes a deal. He's like, I'll return the Gainsborough if the gallery pays this huge amount to fund my children's care. And Pinkerton, he wants to get his name on there as the one who resolved one of the most famous art thefts in history.
Oh, yeah, of
So
course.
he's like, I will act as the intermediary.
I would be
will
glad
make
to
this
do it.
happen.
Put my name in the papers.
So they go back and forth negotiations for months. And then finally, the gallery agrees. So the handover took place in 1899 in Paris. So Worth personally delivered the painting, rolled up, still in the protective case, in excellent, perfect condition.
And is he claiming that he stole it, or just he knows where it is?
Oh no, I
He's
stole
like,
it. I
I
have
stole it. You want it back?
You want it back? Here you
Statute
go.
limitations is over.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
So the return of the portrait, front page news worldwide.
I bet.
So with the funds from the settlement, Worth regained custody of his children. He moved them all to London, living quietly under his real name in Kensington. He opened a modest private inquiry office. He became a PI. And occasionally he worked with the Pinkertons on minor jobs.
Of course.
So
he's now like a gray hat hacker.
yes, exactly. So he wasn't wealthy, but he was able to have like a stable life for his family. He did still have ill health, and he loved to tell stories about his exploits.
Just hold forth. And
And he would tell like trusted acquaintances, but he never betrayed former associates. He kept his like really strict
like
criminal
that,
code.
respect.
Pinkerton operatives continued to visit him, but they came because they were fascinated by the wisdom and the perspective that he had gained and could share with them. For their detecting, developments.
It's kind of like visiting Hannibal Lecter if you're an FBI agent, right? It's just like, I need help on finding this guy Buffalo Bill or whatever.
The criminal behavior unit in the FBI came about of interviewing all those serial killers.
Yeah, same idea.
Same thing. So Adam Worth, he died on January 8th, 1902 at the age of 57 of complications of pneumonia. He's buried at Highgate Cemetery, which is one of London's most prestigious Victorian burial grounds. Karl Marx is buried there.
I was just about to say, that's the only reason I know it.
So is George Michael, Douglas Adams, and Malcolm McLaren.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wait, George Michael. Okay.
Of Wham.
Yeah, I was doing the math there.
Adam Worth's headstone.
At first I went with George Sand. I was like, that's not what she said.
It's Jorge Michel.
Yeah.
His headstone has his real name on it, Adam Worth. His kids, they, were very close to him, even though he was gone so often. They're the ones who arranged for the grave and maintained it for years.
Oh, good for them.
So there was no hard feelings.
Yeah. They forgave and forgot.
Yeah.
So to speak.
And, his death did not diminish his influence. Instead, his legend just grew. How so? I can hear the masses yelling from their open windows.
How so, Elizabeth?
Exactly. In 1893, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle introduced Professor James Moriarty in the Sherlock Holmes novel, The Final Problem. So Moriarty is described as a mastermind controlling a vast network of criminals, a strategist who avoids violence but orchestrates brilliant crimes from behind the scenes. Victorian readers immediately recognized the parallel.
Totally. Even down to being a mathematician, like being good at math. And
Scotland Yard's Inspector John Shore had publicly called Adam Worth, quote, the Napoleon of crime. That exact phrase is used to describe Moriarty in The Final Problem.
That's what I was wondering. I'm like, how can you be that? That's Moriarty.
That's Moriarty. So Doyle adopted the phrase directly. And though Moriarty was a mathematician rather than a thief, the structural similarities, discipline, invisibility, organization, unmistakable to everybody.
Oh, man.
And this made sense because there were a lot of London crime reporters who corresponded with detective agencies and covered the Worth story, who were also part of like Doyle's professional orbit. So George Sala, he was a journalist for the Daily Telegraph. He wrote about Worth and, quote, the Napoleon of the underworld. Doyle admired and followed Sala's writing. He also mingled with all these journalists and editors who wrote about real crime syndicates. Worth's name frequently appeared in those discussions, and Doyle's editor, Herbert Greenough Smith, definitely knew the Worth legend. And then there was Pinkerton.
I love this.
So the clearest bridge between Worth and Moriarty is Pinkerton.
Okay.
So as we know, he tracked Worth for decades.
Yeah.
And he amassed the most complete file on him. And Doyle was part of the same upper middle class London social world that Pinkerton moved in when he traveled to England.
Okay.
So they crossed paths. Worth didn't just influence literature. He also contributed to the development of international policing.
Of course, right. Cooperation between forces.
Yeah, it's like his ability to slip the borders exposed the weaknesses of having all these fragmented police systems. The Pinkertons in particular used their pursuit of Worth as a model for creating transnational investigative practices.
So wait, did he kind of basically, not like singularly, but inspire Interpol?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He was one of the main contributors.
Totally.
So all of his meticulous planning inspired Scotland Yard to adopt more systematic surveillance techniques. They started coming up with dossiers, and they started, we'll coordinate with foreign agencies.
We'll come up with a flying squad.
His story has inspired books, documentaries, fictionalized portrayals. He's like the archetype of the gentleman criminal.
Yeah, I bet.
Cultured, nonviolent, intelligent, enigmatic. And he gets, romanticized.
He's the archetype of one of the best criminals of all time.
Yes.
Moriarty.
Well, his crimes are real. His ability to exploit the weaknesses of global capitalism is so profound.
I love that.
So, Zaron, what's your ridiculous takeaway?
Man, that was great. The fact that I have to admit, I did not know this guy's criminal career or that he inspired Moriarty. I didn't know he was inspired by a real person. And I love Moriarty. Obviously, I'm not like reading the Wikipedia page of Moriarty. I'm just reading the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle stories and appreciating him as a character, watching the movies, appreciating him as a character, and had no idea, never even thought to think, wow, I wonder if he's based on a real guy.
Yeah.
I just assumed he was like so fantastical. He had to come out of Conan Doyle's imagination.
Right. No, real guy.
I thought, in a lot of ways, I always thought it was him portraying himself as a villain. Like, this is what I would be like if I had
no
gone.
idea. And then I stumbled upon this guy. And he's amazing.
What's your Elizabeth?
This is, again, one of those cases where we can kind of admire a criminal because he's nonviolent.
Yeah.
He's punching up.
Yeah.
And he's just a fascinating character. Plus, he hung out with a guy, Piano Charlie. I mean, come on.
Come on. And he's walking around with a very famous painting in a special case he created as a lucky charm.
Keeping it absolutely pristine.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
An unbleached cotton cloth.
Love it. Huh. I think I need to talk back after that.
I think we both do.
Dave?
Talk back. Oh my God, did he just say that?
OMG.
Hey, Zaron and Elizabeth. This is Sarah from Texas, and like this week's Flapper Bandit, I attended the University of Texas at Austin. My tuition was completely covered by my parents' military benefits, and somehow I still came out with $50,000 in student loans. That's ridiculous.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Laugh too hard at that.
I'm sorry, but like, make that make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to higher education in the United States. I love that it got covered, but not loving that, yeah. Oof. That's it for today. My condolences. You can find us online at ridiculouscrime.com. We're also at Ridiculous Crime on Blue Sky, Instagram. We're on YouTube at Ridiculous Crime Pod. Fun little animations, fun for you and me.
They got Producer D on there now. He was telling a story. Did you see that?
Oh,
got
really?
Animated Producer D if you want to see what he looks like.
Yeah. Check that out. Email us at ridiculouscrime@gmail.com. And as always, leave a talk back on the iHeart app. You can share what your student debt is. We can start a calculator. Either way, it's on the iHeart app. It's free. Reach out. Ridiculous Crime is hosted by Elizabeth Dutton and Zaron Burnett. Produced and edited by the Napoleon of podcasting, Dave Kustin. Starring Annalise Rutger as Judith. Research is by nonviolent catalytic converter thief Marissa Brown and Pinkerton, whose heart really isn't in it, Jabari Davis. The theme song is by lockpicking specialist Thomas Lee and master of disguise Travis Dutton. Post wardrobe is provided by Botany 500. Guest hair and makeup by Sparkle Shot and Mr. Andre. Executive producers are Scotland Yard detectives just 1 week from retirement, Ben Bolin and Noel Brown.
Ridiculous crime.
Say it one more time.
Ridiculous crime.
Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.